enable a wombo combo to land on the side of AJN and instead look for sort of skirmishes where the Vayne can really kite people out with that stealth, with those triple procking silver bolts, just deal loads of damage to the beefcakes that exist in the form of Cho'Gath and Volibear.
I think you're absolutely right. We will see everything kind of looking pretty standard for all members of the team here. That nothing really too much to talk about in terms of first buys or summoner spells. Both teams have got Ignite in the bot lane on those big engages, and just running basic heal on the Vayne and the Jinx. Pretty standard. Looks like we're seeing a bit of protective positioning from the side of JYC, as they don't want to fall prey to that invade. Will we see either team make a move before the minions spawn? Slurped walking up a little aggressively here.
Looks like both teams are content to just stick to their 5 point. Nothing really happening in terms of early wards, but no, Lol Pro Legit player spots out this early ward, clears it with his red. I like that. That seems to be a prepared little read there. That's not a very typical ward. Maybe he just saw the person placed it, and as a result, he sweeped it. I'm not 100% sure. Swept it. Excuse my poor English. Yada, yada, yada. It's a tough language, but both junglers opting for a pretty traditional start here. The Kayn is starting at his blue buff on the bottom side of the map, and similarly, the Gragas is taking, or not the Gragas, what am I saying? These flex picks are too much for me. The Volibear is taking his red on the bottom side of the map.
We did see the Scion in the top lane almost making a play onto the Cho'Gath, but it looks like both players are going to start to fall back. As we said, I don't think there's going to be too much action going on in the top lane. Two big, beefy boys with Grasp of the Undying. I think the early levels are maybe the only time we're going to potentially see any real trades out of them. You can see Blob already going aggressive with those Vayne Qs, trying to get some damage down onto Dazda on the Jinx. And Dazda responding in kind.
Yeah, just the typical level 1 AD carry shenanigans. Oh, I'm up 1 auto attack. The lane is over for you, sucker. But really, it doesn't end up amounting to much. What I want to see here, though, is AJN not get collapsed on at level 2 immediately. That happened in the last match. Swain got taken out.
Very nice. Very, very good reaction from the Gragas. Blocking Castle's engage there. Just as you were saying, you didn't want to see them get engaged on. There we go. That's exactly why that Gragas is such a solid counter pick to the Alistar.
My brain is going wild at that sound cue right now, not killing the minion. That it was one shot in it. But sorry. Anyways, yeah, that's the power of this Gragas support right here. Really enables you to block that all in from the Alistar, right? He comes in with the headbutt, and there is a bit of delay between the headbutt and pulverize, and Gragas can land that body slam in that window, meaning Alistar is unable to finish the combo, and that's exactly what Gragas does here. Blocks out that engage, means that they don't have to burn any summoner spells early, and enables Jinx to continue farming up, collecting a nice little CS lead here in the bottom.
Yeah, up about 6 CS right now, which may not seem like too much. Good disengage from Castle there, just blocking the Gragas off before he could get too much done, but he does manage to land a Q onto Blob on the Vayne. A little bit of damage coming down. We're seeing just mostly a lot of poke coming out from the side of AJN.
Yeah, not content to all in there. I think that's smart out of the Gragas, right? In the same way that you can break up the Alistar combo on the all-in, if you dive forward with the body slam on Gragas, the Alistar can pulverize right as you're about to land on him and basically CC both of you. And when he does that, he can then headbutt you back for free as the flash goes in.
Big flash. Castle, big flash engage. And the LoL Pro is already here, getting that Q down, getting first blood onto the Kayn. Josh is going to have to flash out and flash in. Dens flashes into the Scion, and no one is going to get out of there scot-free, thankfully. But a very, very nice engage from Castle, and that's those aggressive plays that we love to see on his Alistar. He's so good at those sudden, out-of-nowhere Alistar Qs and combos. That's just his style, and it's great. First blood onto the Kayn, very, very nice.
Yeah,
nice Q onto the Veigar. Volibear just going to pop that E down, get a little bit of damage down. Unfortunately, they're not able to dive there, but a lot of damage going down.
Yeah, just chipping out this Vigar a little bit, making him nervous in the lane. But really, both teams look for that early gank, one in the top side, one on the bottom. But the gank bottom side works for the side of JYC. They pick up the first blood, goes over to Kane, gets Jinx out of this lane. Luckily for Jinx, she didn't use any summoner spells in that whole kerfuffle. So she still has the heal flash, is not super vulnerable as a result, is not going to get super behind in the lane because Vayne wasn't the person to get that early kill, meaning this lane isn't completely over at this point, but a nice little lead to the side of JYC.
For sure. And don't discount that Kane. I know you were saying that Red Kane has been less advantageous than it used to be, but he does already have that Iron Spike whip. Nice little disengage from Castle. Very smart with the Volibear there. It looks like they are just going to try to run away here. Castle with a big knockup, just enough to peel himself out of that fight. Slurped, unfortunately, doesn't have the mana to follow up on anything in the mid lane there. Just managing to survive that little dive from the Yasuo. Very slow play so far. Lots of back and forth, lots of poke, lots of engage and disengage from the side of Castle and the Gragas on AJN's team.
Yeah, and I think really both teams have very strong scaling AD carries, right? Jinx is known as being a late game hyper carry, just as Vayne is as well, thanks to that true damage. So while both teams are looking for advantages, they're looking to get their carry extra fed through a couple of ganks, couple free kills in that way, which can then lead to CS leads as well. At the end of the day, they have to play it safe because if an overextension happens and your carry gets punished on a return gank or a counter gank, it can be disastrous for you. So both teams, instead of playing overly aggressive, taking the safe route, and now maybe a gank onto this Yasuo.
Cage down around Kitten, and oh, he's going to have to flash out. Unfortunate that he had to use flash there, but very nice that he manages to get away without burning too much other than his flash, not taking too much damage. And we can see the slap fight still continuing here in the top lane. As it is pretty dead even. There is a slight CS lead on the side of that Cho'Gath for AJN, but other than that, pretty dead even as they both just continue to try to smack away at each other and get those minions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this Cho'Gath is healing more than the Scion does damage while he's just ignoring him farming the minions. So a tank fight, a wet noodle fight if I've ever
Castle
seen.
goes in on the Gragas. Lolpro is right there over the wall to manage to come in as well. Gonna drop a full combo onto Josh and gonna be able to pick him up for Blob Paints. Nice. Blob Paints gets the last hit. And unfortunately, Castle goes down to the Jinx, so one kill on either AD carry. Both supports going down, but the gold a little bit more spread out. And will we see the repeat gank, maybe the tower dive coming out here from JYC? The Volibear is right there, and he is in position. We see the Yasuo also ready to move down if anything should break out, but it looks like maybe they're just going to fall away here. Yep. Lolpro is just going to dip right out with that E on Kane as the Volibear comes down too little, too late to collapse.
Yeah, I mean, after you've shown yourself as the Kane and shown that you're looking for the tower dive, it is way too telegraphed, right? You're just posturing so aggressively for so long, it's not likely to work out because people can collapse effortlessly as a little scuffle happens in the river.
Den's going in on the Kane. Castle is right there. Den's dropping the ult, and the Kane will go down. Yeah. Oh, no, the Kane lived. He managed to ult into the Volibear. It's the Veigar that went down in the mid lane to that Yasuo. Josh with the flash E into it. Kane just going to manage to get out of there, and Castle as well. Unfortunate. Both teams losing one player. Slurp going down to that Yasuo in the mid lane, and, excuse me, Den's going down to the Kane in the jungle. Who do you think came out of that ahead?
I think at this point, I'd have to give it to the side of AJN just because the kill on their end went to Yasuo. So it looked like a bit of a troll play at a Dens there. I mean, he goes for the 1v2 fight. Why on earth would you take that as the jungler without any sort of support? But it's because he's stalling for his mid laner, Kitten. He's making sure Kitten has that isolated 1v1 on the Vigar, picking up a nice little solo bolo for himself as we now maybe see a fight in mid.
Yep. Oh, big Scion Q coming out of no one, and the Kane is right in there. Yeah, Kitten just getting demolished by all that damage from Veigar. Another cage landing onto the Cho'Gath, and he's going to have to flash out. All three members of JYC managed to get out scot-free and take down the Yasuo in the mid lane, taking away any bit of lead that he might have had from that solo kill. Very nice play.
Yeah, and it looks like we are about a second ahead here, so I'm going to do a quick time check to confirm with production. So I'm at 940, 941, 942. As this game continues, lots of aggression out of both teams. I'm liking it. Both teams being very proactive around the map. I've gotten the confirmation now that we are 1 second ahead, so I'll count you down for the quick little pause here. So in 3, 2, 1, pause, and now one play. Let's get this game back underway. Hopefully we're lined up 10, 10:01, 10:02 on my side.
I'm right there with you. And I believe, yeah, we are perfectly lined up. Excellent. You love to see it. I had a little bit of lag there at the start of the game, but I believe it's cleared up now as we're moving into the mid game. 10
Yeah,
minutes in, and we're seeing a slight advantage on the side of JYC, but nothing too massive. Only about 500 gold.
yeah, and that advantage that they have is on this Kane, right? Who is strong in the early game, don't get me wrong. If you want to snowball, he's a great pick as he goes on volley.
Speaking of Kane being a strong pick, just fighting the volley, keeping things pretty even. It looks like he may go down as Kitten roams up to help, and he's getting a lot of damage down. Manages to take down the volley. I'm surprised. And no one ulting in onto Kitten as well. Kane picking up another kill. Now 4-0 on that Kane in the jungle. Just going absolutely massive. And I know he's not as strong as you might think, but with this much of a lead, he might be pretty hard to stop.
Being in League of Legends is super strong. When you get 4 kills and 2 assists on him, he's got a 400 gold bounty on his head and is only 11 minutes into the game. Very well played, dodging out on the crowd control of AJN. The Yasuo Tornado does not land, so he's unable to get that ultimate follow up and keep his jungler, that volley bear, alive. Similarly, Dens does not land his ultimate, so the Kane just gets out with a sliver of HP, manages to survive, and there isn't a trade kill in response. AJN falling behind at the hands of LoL Pro Legit player. They triple banned this guy, and he's coming out with a 402 performance. What a beast.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you really say? They did pick out all of his comfort picks. We've seen him on the Hecarim and Udyr, which are gone this game, as well as the Viego, but he is still showing out for the side of JYC. He seems pretty unstoppable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's really been popping off, and his lanes are enabling him, right? He knows that he can fight that 1 versus 2 for a very long time, and his laners roam up accordingly, ready to match him, support their boy in his combatants, as now he looks to fight top.
Cho'Gath, he does have Rost, which is very big, allows him to get that knock-up onto the Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath gets the double knock-up onto the two of them. They're still going to try to chase him down, but he may be able to get out, and Slurped, unfortunately, going down in the mid lane after those two roamed up after Dragon. And yeah, the Cho'Gath is going to go down 1 for 1. Another kill onto the Kane. He's a monster right now. But unfortunately, the Dragon did go down for the side. Ooh, that Jinx ult was close. That Dragon did go down for the side of AJN, which is going to try to keep them in this game a little bit.
Yeah, and you know the jungler's top side, so you may as well try to make something happen on the bottom half, as Gragas is now looking for an engage.
Blob getting ulted and, oh, having to flash out. Very nice. And a very nice tumble condemn on the Gragas there at the start of that engage, just to keep herself at a good distance, keep herself safe. And now we see Castle roaming back down to the bot lane to help out his carry. Will we see him get a nice engage? I don't believe AJN has any idea that he's here. They don't have vision of him in that bush. So we see the Jinx going up, maybe trying to bait the Gragas into an engage so that Castle can wrap around. They're coming into a good position. I can see the gears turning in his head, and Castle roaming down, flash queuing onto the Jinx, knocking her back into the Scion ult. Absolutely huge, condemned into the wall, and Dazda is gone. Another kill onto the Vayne. Fantastic play there. Oh, and LoL Pro Legit player in the mid lane, able to help his Veigar get that Yasuo off of him with some nice peel. Unfortunately, Veigar's ability is going right into that wind wall. I don't think Slurp noticed it was there. He tried to throw a Q, but it just didn't quite work out. And all players in the mid lane, very nice disengage by LolPro there to keep his Veigar alive and drop that Rift Herald in the mid lane. They are going to shred it down, but it's not going to be quite enough. It is going to crash and get some nice turret plating just seconds before it falls.
Yeah, nice to get that little bit of extra pocket money onto your onto this jungler here. LoL Pro Legit player proving that he can be a carry threat on the map with this Kane, but now an engage on the Alistar.
Castle just dodging and weaving there, managing to get around everything except for the Gragas Q, and he's going to be able to walk out of there. I really thought he was going to go down there with two of them collapsing on him, but he's got the jukes. He's got some happy feet. And let's
Yeah.
see if they can land the wombo combo here as Lolpro gets collapsed on. Big knockup onto Josh on the Gragas, but Yasuo and Volibear are right there to help him out. Lolpro diving into the backline. The Gragas is going to go down onto Blob Paints for free. Killing spree onto him right now. And we're seeing a little bit more of the slap fight in the top lane as Kayn is chasing down that Jinx. Will he be able to do enough damage to pick her up? She is getting chunked down pretty hard, but under the tower, I think the Kayn is just going to have to back off. Although Vayne is there as well. Looking for the dive, looking to chase her down. Flash W from the Kayn. Hits the ultimate, just enough damage, and she does go down. The Cho'Gath not able to do much either. That Jinx ult backwards was an interesting strategy, and Castle with the Ignite manages to pick up the Cho'Gath in the top lane as well. JYC are running away with this game.
Oh no, these are BM kills too. I mean, look at this. The Kayn is 1v1 diving Jinx under tower and she's forced to heal. But then, as the Vayne is there for some backup, the Kayn can just dive in between towers and take her down. The ultimate completely whiffs out of the Jinx. I mean, that is not a feel-good moment. That is the kind of thing that can just break your mental in this game 2 of a series. You're already down in the first match. You're already down 0-1. The series is, oh no, the cheese.
Oh no, Lolpro, how could you do it to him? He gets rooted. Oh, the collapse from Josh is going to be enough to... Oh, Lolpro just managing to survive that Ignite by the skin of his teeth with that healing off of his E. And now Blob Paints is in kind of a bad position as he was expecting a lot more damage coming out from Lolpro there. We do get 2 towers down, top and bot lane for the side of JYC, and AJN is going to have a long way to come back in this game now.
Yeah, this poor Jinx is just saying, help me, please. This Kayn is running wild coming out of this little pixel brush in the lane, trying to cheese me as I go back to get my little bit of CS. Cho'Gath doesn't even care about this turret he's tanking in the top lane, so at least they're getting objectives back into their pockets. A little bit of extra gold to go around for the boys and girls on their squad, but at this point, it's going to take a lot more than one outer tower to get back into this match. The only consolation prize they've gotten up to this point is that one dragon. At least it means they can delay the soul that little bit longer, so JYC doesn't have that win condition.
Slurped, getting ulted on by the Yasuo. And yeah, that's going to be a dead Veigar, but the Kayn picking up the Yasuo under the tower. Kitten is going to go down, and Castle and the Vayne just obliterating that Gragas, who is trying to follow up. And now all of JYC is roaming towards the mid lane, towards that dragon. Looks like Dazda is going to be picked up by the Kayn again as he goes in. She goes for the E, but he manages to ult right over it. It doesn't really mean anything. And yep, the condemn from Blob and the kill goes on to Blob Paints. 5-0-1 on the Vayne, 7-0-4 on the Kayn. It's a Vayne Kayn type of game.
Yeah, that dynamic duo, they come in with the run. Oh my god!
Oh, Cho'Gath trying to flash ult onto the dragon, trying to get the steal. But look at the true damage procs from Vayne, just shredding him down, even with all that armor, even with that Iceborne Gauntlet, those boots, and the Bramble Vest. It is not enough when you're facing a Vayne with Kraken Slayer. She is just going to shred you right down, and that is exactly what happened. Very ambitious play, though, from the Cho'Gath on the side of AJN. I'm not sure if it's 100% necessary, but you do like to see it.
Yeah, I think at that point I would have liked to see an emote at a LoL Pro legit player, just BM him a little bit and just destroy his mental that last little bit, because it could not be in a great state if you're relying on flashes over the wall as Cho'Gath to hold you in this game. Now Yasuo going all in, but
Kitten, trying to slide his way in, but unfortunately the Veigar cage just picks him up and he gets shredded by that Veigar damage, and Lolpro also sliding right in there to deal the finishing blow. And it looks like he's going to be heading up towards the Rift Herald as the Volibear is here near Slurped. Castle coming up as well. Are they going to try to dive him or pick him up or just steal his chicken dinner? I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to leave that. Oh, no, they're going to take the last one as well. In terms of BM, I don't think they really need to do much more. I mean, they've got a 6K, almost 7K gold lead after this Rift Herald, and my mental would be pretty boomed. So respect to AJN for staying in this one.
Yeah, this is one where everyone would be typing in a solo queue match, right? Just flaming each other.
Yes, it would. Nice engage from Castle, bumping him back into the team. Another knockup, but Cho'Gath knocks up all three. Will it be enough to get him out? don't think it will. The Volibear E coming down, doing quite a bit of damage, but those Scion Qs are just relentless, and 4 members of JYC, excuse me, managed to pick up that Cho'Gath again. Volibear just gonna have to walk out.
It's so early in the game at this point that they can't even get the Baron off this play. Normally, when you have 4 people on the top side of the map, you just got a super pick like that onto the enemy top laner. You say, all right, guys, Baron, 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 this is the moment. But
Oh,
no,
and the flash engage onto Dazda. 3 players just crushing her under tower. So many tank stats, so many beefy boys. There is nothing a poor little Jinx can do in a situation like that. And again, that's that hyper aggression from Castle, that flash WQ, just leaving Jinx with nothing left to do. And we'll see a Hex Flash here, just for a little bit of BM, I think, as they siege this base tower. Are they going to crack open AJN's base at 20 minutes into this game? Big flash W, and the Gragas goes down again. The Cho'Gath getting caught out on his own. The Volibear E doing a bit of damage, but not quite enough to do anything of note. The Jinx ult leaving everybody with just a little bit of health, and we will see the surrender coming out from the side of AJ.